Hi,
All right.
Patty.
All right. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It is good to be here with you on this sunny, sunny day where the sunset is coming in through the stained glass window opposite the bima. We are live on YouTube, so welcome to everyone. Let's just take a moment to enter into our Shabbat mindset of welcoming in the joy of Shabbat and the peace of Shabbat, the rest of Shabbat, whatever we need from Shabbat this week. In our prayer book, we are beginning on page 127 in the blue bracketed numbers. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. I'd like to invite Ruth Belay to come to the bima for the blessing over the candles, which is on pages 120 and 121.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you. And now I'd like to invite Tony Stanford to come to the bima for the Kiddush, page 123 in the blue bracketed numbers.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us and set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat.
If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho b'ahava v'ratzon inhilanu זיכרון למעשה וראשית, כי בו יום תחילה למקרא קודש, זכר לציאת מצרים, הבנו וחטא, קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen. Thanks, Tony.
You may be seated. Thank you. Yasher koach. We turn to page 131 in the blue bracketed numbers for Shiru Ladonai.
שיר לאדוני, לאדוני שיר חדש. שיר לאדוני כל הארץ. שיר לאדוני ברכו שמו. בשרו מיום ליום ישועתו. Sing unto God, all the earth. Sing unto God, bless God's name. Speak from day to day of God's salvation.
We continue on page 138 with Lecha Dodi.
לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 בשבת נקרלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 בשבת נקבלה. שמוע וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 כדי שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 כדי שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 כדי שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 כדי שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בהורג קומי אורי. אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 שבת נקבלה. שבת דודי לקראת קלה, יללה, 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 שבת קבלה. בואי ושלום, את Chadoti likrat kalai yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela lechadoti likrat kalai yalalai 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 b'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We remain standing and turn to the Baruch Hu, page 146. You may be seated. On page 149 in the blue bracketed numbers, I invite you to read with me. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Page 151.
As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, though I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Amacha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta.
The Shema is on page 152. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated.
Day of נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ושרתם לאות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בעיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem emet. Page 157, I invite you to read responsively with me. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך רובנך, וכהים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלי, אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Page 161. I invite you to read with me. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את הארץ, שמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
The tefillah begins on page 164. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Adonai, שפתי תפתחו פי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarai, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagdol Hagibor v'Hanora, Elion, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו ביהבה, מלך עוזר, מושיע מגין. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל. מכלכל חיים בחסד, בחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בא לגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיי ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני בחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
You may be seated. Page 173 in the blue numbers. You set aside the seventh day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other days, more sacred than all festival times. So it is written in your Torah, the heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God had completed the work that had been done, ceasing then on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. Please join me. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai, our God, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Page 175. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha b'yir'ah na'avod. Page 177 is Modim. And as we do, we take a few moments at this time to give anyone who wishes an opportunity to share something that you're feeling grateful for this evening. People on Zoom are welcome to put it in the chat, and everybody is welcome to share out loud. So, who is feeling grateful for something this evening? I'm grateful that the Knicks won the first game of the finals.
I'm grateful. I don't usually talk about things, but 13 years ago it was that I got very sick, and yesterday every year I go to see my doctor, who I feel like he's as close to God sometimes as I get. And I saw him yesterday and said, "Oh, it's 13 years." And, I said, since we fell in love, that he said, but he's so wonderful. And I'm grateful to this beautiful doctor who I always say, "You saved me." And here I am feeling not good.
Amen to
Aches,
that.
old age and aches and pains, but otherwise, okay.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
Who did I see? Did I see somebody? No? Okay. Diane Keston is grateful for the most amazing time watching her grandson Noah graduate from kindergarten.
Aw.
Karen Kramer is grateful for wonderful family and friends and for beautiful spring days. And Charlotte is grateful for sunshine and love all around her. Freema?
I'm grateful that Debbie's sitting here next to me, enjoying the service.
Hi, Debbie.
Amen.
Hi,
And hi,
Debbie.
Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
Are you muted? No, I'm not muted. Oh, go ahead. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. She's saying
Shabbat
Shabbat.
shalom.
Shalom.
Patty Ann.
I'm very happy to be home. I'm very grateful that everything worked out well
Yes.
and that I'm able to enjoy services with everybody tonight.
Yay.
Amen to that. Anybody else on Zoom? Anybody else in the room? Nathan. Pri ha'etz, pri ha'adama, and pri ha'gafen, fresh fruits and vegetables. Lori.
Wow.
Oh, your granddaughter Ruby was 5 years old this week. Happy birthday to Ruby. Anybody else? Another one, Nathan. And tomorrow is Nathan's niece's second birthday. Happy birthday. Anybody else? Shirley? Say it again. Oh, Shirley passed her entrance test to be a counselor. Hooray. Amen to that. Anyone else? Okay. Page 177. I invite you to read with me. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace is on page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tahasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tahasim Leolam. Ki hata umelech adon lechol hashalom ki hata umelech adon lechol hashalom וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה, בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים
Baruch atah Adonai hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We have come to our silent prayer. There are words on the pages of the prayer book on pages 180 and 181. There are some words on the screen, but of course we can always use the words in our own hearts. We continue quietly.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני
May the words of our mouths and the meditations in our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O God, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen.
Amen.
It is the first Friday of the month of June, and that means that we are including a Torah service this evening. It begins on page 362, and if you're able, I'll invite you to rise.
אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני, ואין כמוהו מלכותך מלכות כל עמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
Page 364.
כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני ירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש ונורא שמו.
גדלו לאדוני איתי, ונאום נמה שמו יחדיו.
לך, אדוני הגדול והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד. כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ. אדוני הממלכה והמתנשא לכל ראש. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו תחת קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו תחת קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו.
Y'all may be seated. For the Aliyah to the Torah, I'd like to invite Alan Zaro to the Bima. Got it?
Yeah, sure. Baruch hu et Adonai Amvarach.
Baruch Adonai Havarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Amvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el Aharon ve'amarta elav ve'ha'alotecha et hanerot el mul penei hamenorah. Ya'iru shivat hanerot. Et hanerot el, oh, I did that. ויזקן אהרון אל מול פני המנורה, העלה נרותיה, כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה, וזה מעשה המנורה מקשה זהב, עד ירחה עד פרחה מקשה היא. כמראה אשר הראה אדוני את משה, כן עשה את המנורה.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nota b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher Koach. Beautiful. For the English reading of the Torah portion, or the Torah reading from the Torah portion, I would like to invite Linda Kushner.
Are you putting it on the screen? Otherwise, I have it on my phone.
I can put it on the screen if you want it.
Would be nice.
Oh, that's not it though. Hold on. Stay tuned. There we go. Can you see it?
Yes, thank you. Okay. God spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to Aaron and say to him, when you mount the lamps, let the 7 lamps give the light at the front of the lampstand." Aaron did so. He mounted the lamps at the front of the lampstand, as God had commanded Moses. Now this is how the lampstand was made. It was hammered work of gold, hammered from the base to metal, according to the pattern that God had shown Moses. So he was the lampstand made. What does that mean?
Which part?
What is a lampstand? Lampstand.
Lampstand? It's the menorah in the tabernacle. It's the candelabra in the tabernacle.
Thank you.
I'm glad you asked. Okay. We turn our thoughts now to those among us and those in our hearts who are ill and who are in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit. Those of you on Zoom are welcome to put names into the chat of anyone for whom you are praying for healing. And also everyone will have an opportunity to add names out loud. We hold in our thoughts and in our hearts for healing this evening Gigi Bias, Josh Sheldon, Paul Chappelle, Susan Sisler, Kenneth Brown, Barry Charles, Melissa Lumish, Bruce Lumish, Jody Siegel-Stein, Fiola Murray, Debbie Rubowitz, Wendy Hershey, Gary Hershey, Isaac Hockman, Deanne Lopez, Elizabeth Gallagher, Lennon Safe, Charles Slaybaugh, Joellen Fox, Valerie Pace, Sarah Bard Ratliff, Kenny Schweiger, Liza Nunes, Gina Marie Cortez, Janet Schlesinger, Jerry Jaffe, Janice Weiss, Katie Pandolfo, Amanda Alone, Jonathan Falkowski, Martha Vincent, Ingrid Grosso, Eddie DeAngelis, Vicki Lightnaker, Nettie Trommer, Mia Gannon, Jeff Abel, Freya Kashmir, Delphine Wolf, Helene Smith, Liz Yasuda, Mark and Paul Steiner, Aki Yasuda, Stephen Belay, Monica Bayer, Sarah West, Griffin Rose, Joanne Davis, Carol Simowitz, Audrey Kindred, Greg Sylvester, Margaret Steinglass, Jane Anthony, Liz Silverberg, Joel Burson, Dan Weidman, Phyllis Huntman, Alan Huntman, Paul Lutzker, Harriet Lutzker, Liz Hain, Norman Taylor, Misha Fluman, Janet Zarowitz, Patty Ann Cubero, Debbie Belsky, and Patricia Cohen. Freema?
Okay. Jimmy Sertia, Alicia Serpi, Kathy's brother Gabby, Richard Kurlander, Diana Gonzalez, Luz Gonzalez, Martin Bennett, Annalise Nerone, Jeff Peltzer, Ali Campbell, Mark Manis, Paula Smith. Thank you.
Linda Kushner?
David Gershon, Lana Epstein, Phyllis and Lori Benjamin, Bernice Ochansky, Ronnie Katlowitz, and Stephanie Balfus. Thank you.
Eileen Clark, Mike Erb, Nicole Hall, George Hall, John Holder, Della Holder, Vanessa Johnson, Juliet Dale, Maureen Dale, Adrian Walton, Yvonne Lewis, Ada Torres, Francis Torres, Anita Jones, Augustine Davis, Damian Colon, Jennifer Magoop, DeAndre Wynn, Chantel Colon, Brandon Lee, Jimmy Jenkins, Tracy Strumpf, Joanna Marie Robinson, Ed Robinson, Pat Flood, Patty Ann Cubero, Claude Smith, Dina Curett, Kathy Sunby, Eleanor Kelly, Beth Freitinger, Jonathan Dash, Joyce Aronson, Eric Aronson, Kathy Garak, David Brunner. Anyone else on Zoom? If you're in the room and have names to add, please rise or raise your hand. Tayo? Alan?
Bonnie Green, Sherry Lynn Strumberg, Mary Michigan, Howard Michigan, and Sergeant Eric Moran.
Janice? Ruth? We include also all of those who have been wounded in service to our country or Israel. We include those who have been wounded in war and conflict in so many parts of the world. We include those who are suffering from natural disasters, including the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And we include those who have been harmed here in our own country through gun violence. Page 371 in the middle of the page.
מי שברך אבותינו, מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. מי שברך אמותינו, מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Page 370. Page 370, if you're able, I invite you to rise to honor the Torah.
וזאת התורה שעשה משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Just disappointed I turned it the wrong way now. Disappointed I turned it the wrong way.
Oh, it's okay. It's very easy to do. You all may be seated. This week's Torah portion is Beha'alotecha, and it begins, which Linda read for us, with the lampstand, the menorah, the candelabra of the tabernacle. God instructs Moses to tell Aaron, the high priest, how to position the menorah so that the light shines to the front of it. The text continues with instructions for the consecration of the Levites for service in the sanctuary in place of all the firstborn of the Israelites. The people are told to conduct and celebrate the Passover sacrifice. In response to a concern that some people can't do the sacrifice because they are ritually impure or because they are on a journey, God gives a second date, a sort of makeup day, for those people to perform the Passover sacrifice. Then the Torah portion describes the cloud that hovers over the tabernacle by day, appearing as fire by night. That's the indication that God is present. When the cloud lifts, that is when the Israelites are to break camp and follow the cloud to the next place where they will set up shop, make camp. Regardless of whether it is after a few days, a few months, or a few years, the Israelites are to move on only when the cloud lifts. Then the Israelites complain about lacking meat and missing the fish and the garlic and the scallions and the deliciousness of the food in Egypt. And Moses becomes frustrated and overwhelmed at having to lead them. God tells him to gather a council of elders, and for a time, all of the elders prophesy, taking some of the pressure off Moses. Then God sends a huge number of quail for the people to eat, and then a severe plague strikes them. At the end of the portion, Miriam and Aaron speak against Moses, something to do with his having married a Cushite woman, and they're apparently feeling slighted because they say God doesn't only speak through Moses, they too are prophets. So God strikes Miriam with tzara'at, a skin ailment that renders the sufferer ritually impure. And Aaron must then humble himself and beg Moses to ask God to heal her, which Moses does. God says she must still go outside the camp for 7 days, as must anyone with tzara'at, as we learn in the book of Leviticus. And this is where the portion ends. As you know, every Torah portion is paired with a Haftarah portion. The Torah and Haftarah portions are connected in some way. And this week's Haftarah is from the prophet Zechariah. The connection between them is the menorah, the lampstand in the tabernacle, and later the temple. Our Torah portion begins, as I said, with the positioning of the lampstand, which is made of hammered gold to stand in the tabernacle. In our Haftarah, the prophet Zechariah has a vision of the temple's lampstand. Sometime after the Israelites entered and conquered the land of Canaan, which we read about in the book of Joshua, the book after the end of the Torah, King Solomon built the first temple, replacing the portable tabernacle with a permanent structure for God to dwell in. It stood in Jerusalem for 400 years before it was destroyed by the conquering Babylonians, who not only burned down the temple, but exiled the Jews who lived in the kingdom of Judah to Babylonia in 586 BCE. A few decades later, Babylonia was conquered in turn by King Cyrus of the Persian Empire. Cyrus allowed the Jews to return to Jerusalem. Zechariah the prophet was among those who did, and while many of his visions are very obscure, they seem to be encouraging the return of the exiles and supporting the rebuilding of the temple. It's not so surprising, then, that he would have a vision of the temple's lampstand, which would also have been the tabernacle's lampstand. But there's a difference between the lampstand that we read about in the Torah portion in the tabernacle and the lampstand of Zechariah's vision. The lampstand in Beha'alotecha is clearly made by humans following God's blueprints. Human priests fill it with oil daily so that it can give light. The lampstand in Zechariah's vision, probably the same lampstand, probably also made by humans, but its oil comes from God via 2 olive trees that Zechariah sees next to them, with spouts that are pouring oil into the lamp. And considering this, I'm thinking of the lampstands as metaphorical for us and in our own lives. And I'm thinking about how we fuel ourselves. We eat, we drink, we exercise in varying amounts, we take care of our bodies in a human way, and we do it ourselves. But then there are also our souls, our spiritual selves. And perhaps the fuel for that comes not only from what we do in the world and the interactions that we have and the physical stuff that we engage in or that we eat or drink, but through our spiritual pursuits of worship, of perhaps time with friends and loved ones. That energy coming to us from somewhere else, someplace less tangible than the physical world. And my blessing for us is that we should be able to access that spiritual sustenance, that we need it in addition to the physical sustenance. And may we find ways for it to replenish us, and may we feel replenished and fulfilled. Amen and Shabbat Shalom.
Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wider, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Oh, draw the circle wide. And in your sadness and in your grief, from all the pain, it seems there's no relief. We will hold you until the storm subsides. We'll draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Oh, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide.
The words that Noni started with there, not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone, come from this week's Haftarah portion as well. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
We are going to turn now to the Haftarah for this week from Zechariah. We're not reading the part that has the not by might and not by power, but we're reading a different part. Oh, that's the wrong. Sorry, that's the wrong thing. Oh, no. And so for the Haftarah blessings, I'd love to invite Janice Isa to the Bima. They're on page 372.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nviim tovim v'ratzah b'divreihem v'ne'amamin ba'emet Baruch atah Adonai Habocher Batorah uMoshe Avdo uYisrael Amo excuse me uVinviei haEmet haTzedek.
Amen. Beautiful. And to read the Haftarah, or read from the Haftarah for us, Charlotte Russell. Charlotte, would you like me to put it on the screen?
That's okay, I have it.
Okay.
Shout for joy, fair Zion, for lo, I come and I will dwell in your midst, declares God. In that day, many nations will attach themselves to God and become God's people, and God will dwell in your midst. Then you will know that I was sent to you by God of hosts. God will claim Judah as a special portion in the Holy Land and will choose Jerusalem once more. Be silent, all flesh, before God, for God is roused from the holy habitation.
Thank you. Blessing after.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam melech haolam kol let me start again.
Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam kol haolamim sadik b'kol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman v'homer v'ratzeh v'osei hamidaber Umkaye, Shechol Divara, Emet Vatzedek, Al HaTorah, Va'al HaAvodah, Va'al Hanvim, Va'al Yom HaShabbat Hazeh, Shenatan Talanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Lishmuncha Ulikmuncha, Lifara Ultiferet, Al HaKol, Adonai Eloheinu, Anachnu Modim Lach, Umvarchim otach yitbarach shimcha batir kol tai tamid le'olam va'ed baruch atah Adonai mikadesh hashabbat.
Amen. Yasher koach. We are going to return the Torah to the Ark, page 374. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
Odo al eretz v'shamayim vayarem keren le'amo tihila lechol chasidav livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Chaim hi lama chazikima v'tomechei ha'meusha deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivotecha shalom. Hashiveinu Adonai elecha v'nashuva. Chadish, Chadish Yameinu, Chadish Yameinu,
We continue with the Aleinu, page 586.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, עתיד גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגופי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us, our loved ones who have died in the past days or weeks or months, or in past years at this time of the year. I'm sharing our yahrzeit list for the coming week to the screen. Those of you who are here in person have that list in your pink bulletin. If you're on Zoom and you have names to add of anyone for whom you are saying the Mourner's Kaddish this evening, you're welcome to put those names in the chat, and everyone will have an opportunity to add names out loud. We remember those who have died in the past year. Mary Lou Cricky, Marlene Unterberger, David Meist, Lucian Katz, David Bader, Gibby Cohen, Tom Sten, Phyllis Panzer-Ehrlich, Gabrielle Miller, Eileen Shapiro, Jeremy Mayo, Brian Wilco, Bonnie Hubner, Celeste Cooperman, Robert Brown, Selma Chain, Douglas Wilson, Mary Katz, Ken Berkowitz, Joseph Donato, Rochelle Spitzer, Jennifer Blitzer, Terry Newman, Emil Maharis, Kevin Corstange, Wayne Perillo, Frank Spitznagel, Shelley Malbranch. Included on our yahrzeit list for the coming week are Sidney Backner, Lisa Backner's father, Anna Cohen, Patricia Cohen's mother-in-law, Ethel Cohen, Patricia Cohen's sister-in-law, Morris Gordon, Nancy Frost's father, Steve Kamholtz, friend of Monica Beyer, Carlton King, remembered by Gabriella King, Ruth Sember, the mother of Mike Rose's step-siblings. Also, Ron Cricky, who was Mary Lou's husband, is on our yahrzeit list for the coming week. Phil Kantrowitz, who was the grandfather of Kara Kantrowitz George and the father of Merrill Kantrowitz, or actually Mark Kantrowitz, I'm sorry. Daniel Adam Kaplan, Fanny Maharis, Florence Pimperato, Mort Kessler, both friends of Linda Kushner. Frima?
Ina Colcourt, Lois Green, Addie Welsh, Larry O'Hagan, Wayne Lansky. Thank you.
Charlotte?
Yes, I'd like to mention that Phil Kantrowitz was a president at the Avenue R Temple. And I'm remembering Frederick Sorkin, who was a good friend.
Thank you. Anyone else on Zoom? If you're in the room and have names to add, please rise or raise your hand. Charlie? Alan? Mike? Nathan? Yeah, thank you. We include also all of those who have died in war and conflict around the world, as well as those who have died from other causes, whether in famine or terror or disaster, or alone and homeless on the streets of our cities. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. If you're able, I invite you to rise and join in, or to participate according to your own custom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimru. You all may be seated. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to the bereaved here among us and wherever they may be. And let us say, Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, Oyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru amen.
Is anyone the Bima officer tonight? Okay, I will do the announcements. Tomorrow at 9:45 a.m. is religious school, and it's the last day of religious school. At 10 a.m. we will have Tat Shabbat and Biyachad. At 11 a.m. Shabbat services will be in person and on Zoom and will include teacher appreciation. And after services, we will have a teacher appreciation luncheon at 12:30, and then at 1 o'clock, the League of Women Voters are coming to join the Social Action Committee and to hold a postcard writing session and voter education. This is nonpartisan. On Sunday is our gala luncheon honoring Emily Whitehead and Ellen Rothstein. Torah study is on Thursday with me. Next Sunday is our congregational picnic, June 14th at the Fort Tilden Recreation Area in Breezy Point. Please do RSVP in the next couple of days for that. And I think everybody has to get a parking pass for that as well, which you can get with your RSVP. On the 13th, the day before that, we have the bar mitzvah of Luria Berkowitz. So please join us to celebrate with Luria and his family. On the 20th will be our LGBTQIA plus Pride service on Saturday morning. And on the 27th will be our outdoor service at the Marine Park Salt Marsh Nature Center, weather permitting. And that services will start that day at 10:30 a.m., a little bit earlier than usual. So come on out. It's going to be great. In July, there's other activities coming up. The Women of Beshert year-end dinner is July 8th. The Wine Lovers Wine Pairing is on Sunday, July 12th. And the Brotherhood Family outing to the Brooklyn Cyclones game is on Sunday, July 19th. Alan is here. You can see him for more information. For all of these events, check your email, check the bulletin, check the flyers in the lobby. You can get all of the information about them. Any other announcements? Okay. We're going to close, I think, with Adon Olam, yeah?
Yes.
So Adon Olam is on page 625 in the blue numbers. And if you're able, I invite you to rise.
Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Hashem Malach,
Hashem Malach,
B'terem kol,
B'terem kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitnasa,
Yitnasa,
Lechefzo kol,
Lechefzo kol,
Azay Melech Shemo Nivra Adon Olam, V'acharei Kiklot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nara Adon Olam, V'hu Haya, V'hu Hovei, V'hu Yeh B'tifara Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Hashem Malach,
Hashem Malach,
B'terem kol,
B'terem kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitnasa,
Le'etnasa,
Lechefzo kol,
Lechefzo kol,
Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Echad, V'ein Sheni, Laham Shelo Lahakbir Adon Olam, V'li Reshit, V'li Tachlit, V'lo Ha'oz V'hamizra Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Hashem Malach,
Hashem Malach,
B'terem kol,
B'terem kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitnasa,
Le'etnasa,
Lechefzo kol,
Lechefzo kol,
Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, V'hu Eli V'chai Goli, V'tzokev li B'tzara Adon Olam, V'hu Nisi U'manos li, V'nat kozi b'yom Nikra Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Hashem Malach,
Hashem Malach,
B'terem kol,
B'terem kol,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitzir Nivra,
Yitnasa,
Le'etnasa,
Lechefzo kol,
Lechefzo kol,
Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, B'yado Hafkid Ruchi, V'yiti Shan V'yahir Adon Olam, V'im Ruchi Geviyati, Adon Olivo V'omer Adon Olam, Adon Olam,
Adon Olam,
Hashem Malach,
Hashem Malach,
Yitnasa,
B'terem kol,
Lechefzo kol, Azay Melech Shemo Nikra Adon Olam, Hashem Malach, and I'm just so tired that I can't even concentrate. I don't know where I was or what I was singing, but thanks for getting to the end for me.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
Yehi ratzon.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha Shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine on you and be gracious to you. May God lift God's face toward you and give you peace. Amen. And we're going to go across to the Oneg. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Thank you for coming. Let's go, Knicks.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.